I don't know how much of that we got, if any. So A960 torque converter noise, or whining noise, and a torque converter code. 14 millimeters on the tail housing, 14 millimeters here on the bell. $17 millimeters on the bottom two. Oh, I missed one. $12 millimeters on the pump. Millimeter on the linkage and the neutral switch. Seven-eighths on this nut right here. Just loosen it up, you don't have to take it off. Makes it easier to get the neutral switch off. $10 millimeters on your speed sensor and your vent. Speed sensors are the same, but I would mark them. 10 millimeters on the cover and the wiring harness. There's a couple spots you can get in here and knock your tail housing off. Here is a bearing and snap ring in here. You don't need to take that out unless it's bad. Snap ring here. Guess I should have taken that out of park. Race and a bearing, make sure it's not pitted, and another race here. $10 millimeters on your pan. 10 millimeters on your filter. Always keep my filter bolts separate. It makes it quicker when I'm going back together. 10 millimeters on all of our valve body. And there we go. Okay, we only have one temp sensor on this one. And a bracket for it. You're going to need a scribe to get up in here and kind of lift up on this and release that wiring harness. Try to be careful with it. You will tend to crack them. And it's kind of okay if you do. And it's not, I've never had one come undone. I just try not to do it. Yeah, that one cracked. These you just push in on a little tab and it unhooks. You should have done all of them that way. I don't know why they don't. But your linear solenoids, you have to lift up on it to get it to release. Cooler check valve and spring. Accumulator and spring. Need to pay attention to how these are and what springs are where, and put them back exactly like you find them, or you are going to have shifting issues. And Toyota is one of the hardest ones to get information on. Okay, 10 millimeters on your linkage. You're going to need to move this in such a position that this will slide out. Then you can take your park pawl, pivot pin, and spring out. I leave this in there. You can take it out if you want to. You roll this back to expose the roll pin, drive the roll pin through this piece, and I throw that away after I install it because you don't need it. After the roll pin comes out, that'll come out I just dig my lever seals out with a pocket screwdriver and lube up my new seal and stick it in and drive it in with a socket that's about the same size. That way I don't have to take all that out. There are 3 tube seals. And 3 flat seals here. There's an anti-rattle clip that goes in here. I leave it in the case. If it falls out, you need to make damn sure it's in there when you're reassembling, because if you don't have it in there before you put all your stuff in, you cannot get it in like you could the older units. You will have to take it all the way back apart. Well, you'll have to take it down to right here. You can get it in from this point down. You can get between your drum and the case and pop your pump out. There's a race here and a race here. .30 torques on the pump. Mark your pump gears. The dot does face up on this one, and I believe it faces down on this one, and the outer one. Some of these are different, so that's why I just get in the habit of marking them. Yep, the dot is up on this one too. Bearing. There's another bearing up inside here. Washer. I would recommend that you're gonna have to buy a bushing kit, because the bushing in this front planet is almost always walking out, and the only way you can get it is a bushing kit. So I would just replace all your bushings. So we're turning clockwise, locking counterclockwise. I just mark my sprags. Another washer here. Snap ring. Hub will come off with the bearing. Clutches look fairly decent. Got another hub with a washer and a bearing. Make sure that your bearings aren't pitted, your washers aren't cracked. Sometimes you get the washers in your kit. Alright, this sprag we're turning clockwise, locking counterclockwise. race here. Well, I had it. And bearing and race in here. And a washer. Make sure your surface where your sprag locks is in good shape. Alright, here's another bearing. Race. 2 sets of clutches in here. Fairly decent, starting to flake just a little bit. Not uncommon. Alright, there's a molded piston in here. I recommend you put molded pistons in it. Snap ring, balance piston, return spring, and molded piston. I'm not going to take this apart right now. I'll just tell you how it's done. Snap ring here. Another snap ring underneath that. And this set of clutches. And these are burnt. Not terribly, but they are burnt. Steels will still be okay. To get this piston out of the back, it's kind of easier sometimes to just have this all loaded up and compress this down, because when you press down on this piston's going to want to come out. So you're going to need some way to keep this piston up, put something underneath it, keep it loaded, whatever. But snap ring here, your balance piston and return spring. Inside here you got your snap ring. You're gonna have to compress it to get it off. You got your balance piston, return spring, regular piston, and this here is another piston. Alright, snap ring is at the 6 o'clock on this one. And Toyota can really pack some parts in there. Alright, a little burnt. And we have another snap ring. It is at the 6 o'clock. This one is a beveled snap ring, so you need to pay attention to what snap rings are where. And get them back in the same spots. And this thing has a ton of snap rings. Into my snap ring. And our center support will come out. You're going to have to try to bring it out kind of even, or it can get stuck. brag here. You just mark the front of it so you know that this end faces out. You have a snap ring here, and piston and return spring will come out. Washer, hub. Alright, this one has not started spinning yet, but you can see it's severely worn. And what it'll do is start, well, it has come out. See how it's sticking out? It should be recessed. There is a groove. You can see that it has moved. That groove right there should be in the center of that hole. And I don't know why they don't blow up the planets, but they don't. Bearing and race. Bearing and race. Make sure everything looks good. Usually all this is in good shape. I haven't seen one yet with bad planets like the earlier Toyota units. Okay, this snap ring is at the 9 o'clock. And you're going to have to kind of push down on the return spring and lift it out on your snap ring at the same time, because there's little tabs that keep it locked in there. These little tabs right there. Alright, your piston will just come out. Little tab at 12 o'clock, feed port at 6 o'clock. Alright, our planet and sun gear. A washer or a race. And looks pretty good. No wobble, not too much up and down movement. Alright, snap ring is at 6 o'clock. This one is spring loaded, so kind of watch yourself when you take that snap ring out that it don't pop you. Clutches and return spring, a little burnt. And come on out of there. Go. Same thing, tab at 12, feed port at the 6, piston just comes out. Now, our bevel snap ring is at the 6 o'clock in this one, and especially on this little unit, these 960s, it can be a real piece to get out of there. I usually come in right here off of the housing and put something behind the snap ring to kind of assist me, keep it from popping back in there. Okay, now it's this last little bit. It can be a real pain. Go. Now, everything should just come out of the case, and it's got to have to come fairly even as well. All right, we have a race here, bearing and race in here. Come on. There we go. Alright, same thing on our pinions here. This sprag here, you have to pull the snap ring out to get it out. We are turning clockwise, locking counterclockwise. I'm going to shake this around, make sure that the elements don't fall out. I have seen a bad sprag up in the top in that drum that we took out, this input drum. I have seen a few of those bad. The others I haven't seen bad yet. Pretty decent looking clutches. We have a race, bearing and race. Okay. And bearing and race. Now what I do, I don't put these in the foot press to get them apart. I get 2 screwdrivers, I push down on my cage and I work my snap ring out. And then there's 2 pistons in there and a apply plate, and the case is empty. Make sure your bearing it's in the back is in good shape. I always put the zip kit in here, so this is going to get a zip kit, filter, torque converter. Usually the SLT and the S4 is bad. Don't have a code for them, but I'm going to replace them on it anyway. Bushing kit, I guess LS kit with pistons. LS kit is a kit without steels. I don't need any steels, so I don't need that. So we'll see you on the rebuild.